and you're watching this either live with us right now or after the fact, either way, thank you for watching. Today's live feed. Well, if you've been following our recent series that we were doing, the Musician's House, you know what a great deal of work it's been to get the house completed. And I'm happy to say that I'm done over at the house now, and we are moving on in other directions, and now basically focusing on an auction. So I see Melissa has joined us, and as you log on, we'll try and say hello to you. Unless things go absolutely crazy. We've got Sean and Barb. I see everybody starting going, oh, hey, Bill. It's our good friend, Bill. I was thinking about you today, Bill. Bill is the gentleman who comes in our store and brings us all the fine German baking all the time.
Oh, my goodness. Those cookies don't stand a chance. Thank you so much. And the pickles and... Wait, what else came? Oh, salsa.
Yeah, Bill takes care of us.
He does.
But in the spirit of moving on and forward and things, it's funny. I was thinking of Bill because Bill has run coffee shops before, and I was thinking, I know nothing about running. I shouldn't say I know nothing about running a coffee shop.
It's still a business.
I am professionally trained to run a Starbucks, although I never have, if that makes sense. I went through all the training and all the food service and safety stuff to run a coffee shop, specifically a Starbucks, and I never had to do it because I was working for Target and they went out of business. So there's that. But Bill has run a coffee shop before, and so I was thinking about Bill because I thought, well, I wonder if we ever do decide to open up this little shop, if we might need some good friends and some help to run that place. But that's another conversation, perhaps for another day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the Musician's House series so far. There's still going to be some follow-up videos as we move into the auction and sales portion of the program. It just feels fancier to say it that way.
Does it?
Program instead of program.
Oh, I put my water way over there.
Oh, I thought I was done coughing.
I thought you were done coughing too. He hasn't been coughing as much.
I need a break out of that house anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was...
You say that, but you worked on it.
It was really getting to me. So that's where we were at. Was house is emptied out. The owners are moving on into renovation phase. I think Hans will go back to take some trees down and do a little bit of work for him. And now we have been working nonstop. I mean nonstop, basically, getting everything ready for the auction. The first sale is essentially ready to go. I'm just waiting for them to get the pictures up online. If you haven't been on Casper's website yet, it's kauctions.ca, and I'm saying this both because I'm advertising the sale, but also because a lot of people are asking where the auction is. You will be shocked, amazed, and stunned to see the cool and the wide variety of jewelry. Jewelry? How do you guys say it? People make fun of me for saying jewelry.
Jewelry. Just jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry, but then people are like, ha!
But that's because they spell it different in the
Oh yeah, did
States.
you know Canadians spell jewelry different than they do in America?
Yep.
That's right, we have different spelling for
I
things.
see Zenobia.
So
Zenobia.
we blame our dictionary.
Yeah.
It's Zenovia's on, and it's Zenovia's birthday tomorrow. So happy early birthday to Zenobia. And I'm glad that hopefully she's going to take a day off or so. On their down days, Hans and Zenobia usually go and do more work. And boy, they're a busy couple. Yeah. Well, we're busy as well. I guess I just know a lot of busy people who are doing stuff. Melissa and I went through... Kev, thank you so much. And Ronald, thank you very much for the kind words. And Kev...
I answered one person. I took home 2 of the sealed packages, but I don't know what happened to the rest.
I gave a bunch of... there was a whole pile of sealed toilet paper at the house, and I don't know why people are interested to know where the toilet paper went.
Apparently the colored toilet paper is not good, though, that they pulled the colored toilet paper.
Well, we didn't... That got thrown out. Okay. There was only one roll of it, and it was nasty. So it's gone. Yeah. So the toilet paper that was still sealed in packages was divided amongst our home, Zenobia and Hans's home, and my store. Because I always need toilet paper, and if it's sealed, it's perfectly fine. So I'm not going to throw away perfectly good toilet paper.
I was even nervous. Once it was opened and we just kind of dumped it straight out of the package so you didn't have to clean the outside, I was nervous that it would still smell, and it completely was fine. So I have no clue how that packaging was so airtight, but it apparently was.
Yep, it was fine. But, when we think about what we did at the house, the goal with these sort of projects is to reuse and recycle or sell as much as we can. And so, although we took, what was it, 8 dumpster loads, which are, I don't know how, I think it's almost a ton per dumpster. It's like, I think a ton per dumpster or close to it anyway. It's a big roll off bin. We took 8 full dumpsters out of that house and partly out of the garage. And of that, I would say we also had 3 or 4 equal sized loads that went to charity and about 6 loads or so that went to the auction. So a lot of good came from that house, and we were able to save and reuse a lot of things, and hopefully, oh, and Mark took truckloads. He took about 2 cube van full of clothing. 2 cube vans, if you can imagine how big a cube van is. Imagine the UPS truck pulling up and filling it completely to the roof like 2 or 3 times. That's how many clothes Mark got out of that house. So a lot of stuff came out of that house. I'm sure it's sighing a bit of relief as it's been emptied out. The house itself is relieved that it's not as loaded down as it was before. And I've been getting nice messages from folks. I had a lady send me some pictures, and she had been suffering from hoarding herself, and watching the series had convinced her to maybe tidy up. So she had her sister come over, and they were going through her house and clean it up. And I say, all the power to you. And the sobering thing about this is that you have a wonderful lady like Mary with the Potter's House, or a wonderful lady like Betty Joan, Madame Rack, with the Musician's House. And at some point things turn and twist and get away from you. And I think that it's important to remember the person behind it, and also remember that things should not control you. They're just things. They're tools to enhance your life, not to limit your life. A couple of questions here. Allie of Massachusetts. She said, "Are you willing to say a little about Madame Rack's husband? He seems like a cool guy." Madame Rack's husband's name was Jim. Jim was a machinist, and they were married, I think around 1975 or so. He was in a car accident around 1979, which gave him, I think, a head injury, which affected him for the rest of his life. So I didn't really talk too much about it. They ended up divorcing, but staying best of friends, and did live together until his passing several years ago. And I had run into him on several occasions when I was a manager at an Apple store. He was always in the food court visiting with his friends. And he was the one guy in that mall who was dressed to the nines. I mean, pinstripe suit, pocket scarf, fancy shoes. Like, he walked in, I always thought, oh, there's a spiffy looking guy. And so I had not really chatted with, but I'd met her husband or seen him on many occasions before I even met Betty Joan and got her Cadillac. And I don't live in that small of a town. We have about 1 million people in our city. So the odds of me going full circle with this family, seeing her husband and thinking what a handsome older gentleman he was, and how well dressed he was, just a put together guy. And then to end up meeting his wife after he passed, and I had no idea that's who he was. Mm-hmm. And chatting with Betty Joan about my kids' music and buying the Cadillac and taking for her ride in that, and then sadly being the person who empties out her home. It only seemed fitting that I paid respect to her after the house had been more or less cleaned out, because I didn't want, at that stage of the story, it's discovery, and you're trying to make money off the things you're purchasing, obviously, but she was a person and had a life, and those things have gone their own way. So.
Somebody said, "Is that my lipstick?" Was it?
No, I don't know.
No, I put on lipstick after I kissed him.
So Dee Dee, thank you very much. I'm happy to say that, for some reason it was serendipity or whatever it was that brought myself and Betty Joan together, and was really happy that I had a chance to be a part of that story. Sarge says, "It's crazy how fast you got that place cleared out. The house I cleared took me 3 weeks." Well, 3 weeks is still pretty good.
And that place was pretty full that you had as well.
Yeah, 2 weeks for us was, if the majority of the work was with the clothing, and by selling the clothing in one lot to Mark, although yes, there was probably a whole lot of expensive clothes that went out the door there, he also has a lot to deal with. And for me, getting my investment back on the property, and Mark taking care of the labor of getting all the clothes out, made it so we could work this quickly. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been able to move as fast as we did. And I have to be very decisive in these moments with what to keep, what to go. So when I'm filming, you're seeing other people doing work. When I'm not filming, which is the 90% of the other time, I am actually working and lifting and moving stuff too. So somebody said, oh, it looks like you're making Hans carry the TV or whatever. Well, we both helped move it down the stairs. I just couldn't film and carry a TV at the same time.
Alexander doesn't stop. That's the actual truth.
Ron, thank you so much. Ron Stewart. Wanda, hello, Wanda. Will you be able to put something with the auction lots to show size? Well, the auction lots, we're not putting the clothing through this auction sale, if that was pertaining to that question.
Or
When
anything else.
when it comes to the rings and so forth, for the most part, they are sized. So if you know what size of finger or what size of ring you wear, then that should be with the majority of them. Scott says, hi from London, Ontario. Finally caught one of your live chats. Just want to thank you for your donations to Goodwill. Yes, we do. Goodwill, Salvation Army, and several other charities benefited from us going through the house, and both times that we went through properties like this, we were able to donate quite a bit to charity and put a lot of items back to use. It was nice to get things back into the run of things. A lot of people were upset with me for throwing out that television set. The TV was probably worth about $40. It didn't work. It was broken on the back, and I don't know, to haul around a 150-pound TV hoping somebody will give me $40 was not worth my time, sadly. So off it went. And yes, if we had more time, we could have tried to find a home for that. But sometimes you have to make good judgment decisions. And when you take your labor per hour times how many hours it would take into the storage and the weight and all that, it didn't make sense.
No. And it's busted.
And it was broken anyway, so.
Miss Purple Apple, I saw your question more than once. So she said, do those glass swans on the mantle have holes to put water in them?
They did, yeah. I left them
Do you know how
there.
much those would be worth?
I don't know what they'd be worth. I actually left them on the mantle as sort of a farewell to the house. It was my housewarming present for the next people. Amanda Stevenson, thank you so much. Did you let the turkey out of the trap? I'm not sure what that means. Turkey out of the trap. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll get some clarity on that one. She sent us $20 to ask me a question. I don't know what I did. Oh, the turkey that was in the mouse trap. Yeah. Yeah, there was a turkey toy. I was like, what? I was imagining a real turkey. I'm like, anything's possible at that house. There could have been a real turkey in a trap there. No, it was a turkey.
Will you be selling anything in your store, or will it all go through auction? We are going to be selling some of the what is it? Costume jewelry.
We have a lot of costume jewelry that came from the house that's going to our store, that's currently at the store, and more will be arriving soon. All of the high-end jewelry, all the gold and diamonds and semi-precious stones and all that is going to auction. And there's approximately 850 lots of really cool things that are going through the sale on January 23rd, so definitely check it out.
Monica.
Oh, thank you so much. She says, my mom and I love you. Well, thank you, Monica. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching too. Somebody said, I was just reading a question back a minute ago. They were saying, in a video you mentioned hoarder houses often start with the death of a relative. Would be interested to hear how people can avoid that happening to them. To me, an interesting video.
That's just a mental state that people get into. Nobody means for it obviously to happen. You end up having a void that feels like it needs to be filled. And some people end up filling it with not only the stuff, but she would be constantly going out and interacting with people. So she would be filling her void with not only stuff, but the experience and all of those people she would have been interacting with that whole time.
I think it's when you, even more than that, if you place a sentiment or attachment to an item, and that item you can't get rid of it because, you know, this is the glass cup that my aunt drank from when she was here on my 25th birthday. When you attach too many emotions to an object, you have a hard time parting with objects. And I think what that question was, when someone passes and you inherit their items, then you have a difficult time detaching emotionally from it as well. I think you have to look at it. I mean, for us, we look at it like the memories are what's important, the experiences are important, and we have certain goals that we're trying to reach. So we're working this hard and buying this much stuff to sell all these things so we can afford to do the things that we want to do. but we certainly don't have a need, want, or desire to hang on to all this stuff ourselves. But not everybody's in that frame of mind.
I think we also have that point where if somebody gives us something that meant something to them, I mean, those were their memories or their parents' memories. That has no actual attachment to me at all. So we will let those things go. Amanda said, "What are your New Year's goals?"
New Year's goals. And so I saw the other super chat came up here. I'll answer that one in a second. Okay.
There's 5.
New Year's goals. I mentioned it before in a live chat that I have very specific goals that I've been after. Last year, we started putting the wheels in motion to build a little cafe next to our antique shop. That is going to happen. I've been saving to make that happen. So here, this is the list of goals, and this is these are things that are really going to happen. I'm going to find a way to make it happen. 1, I'm going to pay off my store. It's going to happen. 2, we're going to save up the money to put our building up. We're going to create a really cool, interesting cafe of some kind. Don't know how to run a cafe? Maybe my friend Bill will help me with that. Who knows? It's going to happen somehow, possibly this year. Rolls Royce is going to get finished. I'm going to buy myself an old E-Type Jag, and we are going to eventually go on a vacation, if not this year, as soon as we can. But we've got some serious goals planned. We're going to make it happen, and I don't care how unrealistic the goals might seem. I am aiming, planning, and going to make this happen one way or the other. So that's the plan for 2021.
Oh, I lost one. Susan said, "Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Excited to see the auction items."
Thank you.
By size, I meant something that would show how large an item was, like a vase or painting.
A lot of times, Wanda, at the auction site, what they do is they will have like a measuring stick, like a yardstick or something next to it, and they'll show you how tall it is. They'll put an actual measurement with it.
Did they find any money or jewelry in the clothing?
Have no idea. Have not heard anything back from Mark yet. He might not even have processed the clothing yet. So don't know if they're going to find anything. When I say dream big, it's funny that if you were to visit my store and you were to look at the little concrete patio, which is not much of when I'm talking about building this cafe and it's a big dream of mine and all that, it's not much of a big dream for a lot of people, it's not like I'm putting up a skyscraper. It's basically like 1,000 square foot, a little bit better building that I want to turn into like a little Parisian kind of cafe. And yeah, maybe it's kind of hokey, but on the patio, I actually put dream big. I wrote dream big in the concrete because for me as a kid, this would have been a really big dream. Having my own house would have been a big dream. And then your dreams keep stretching. The more dreams that you hit, the more goals that you reach, the bigger your dreams can be. So yes, dream big. I agree with that. Pioneer Woman said, "I just found your channel at the beginning of part 1. Totally got sucked in. Love how, I love your care." Thank you from Geronimo, Oklahoma. Well, hello, and thank you. And hello, you guys from Sweden. And Melissa found out she's mostly Swedish.
It kind of changes, though. So I knew I was European, but 33% Swedish.
Yeah.
Everything that burns easily, I am.
Most of the rings were sized, yes. The auction items, for those of you asking, are not posted on Kastner's website yet.
They're still processing.
You have to sign up for it now, and then they'll send you a link when the auction is ready, and you can view the items once they have all the pictures taken. They were actually working on that today when Melissa and I were there, and Melissa actually apologized and said, I feel so bad you guys are having to deal with all this because it was so much work for us. Melissa and I did on our own what's taking an entire team of people to do at an auction house. It was I couldn't have done it without.
They were so good about it. Like they do it for a living, processing all of that stuff. But fantastic people at the auction house. I'd met some of them before, but today I think I met a lot of them.
Somebody said, "Would I do another Hoarder House?" I wouldn't buy. I had an opportunity. You guys probably saw over Christmas. Somebody offered me all that stuff out of the other place. I wouldn't go in one that's dangerous or that doesn't look like it has potential. I try and find these places that have a story or have a life to them that you can do something interesting with. But yes, I would buy another property with a whole bunch of stuff in it and clean it up. It's quite satisfying. Ideally, I'd buy the whole building again and renovate because I actually quite enjoy renovating buildings. But I have to stay focused on my task of building a coffee shop for now. Gail says, "Do you still have the antique record truck?" No, in my mad panic to try and pay down my store last year, I sold off almost everything I had. And the old tow truck I had sitting on the patio went, which is fine because we're going to need that space to do construction pretty soon. Craig Rockanova says, love the channel, hope to visit Edmonton and the store someday. Greetings from sunny Huntington Beach, California. Well, we hope to visit somewhere sunny and warm in wintertime too.
You're such a generous and caring person, a truly great human. Want to be our president? Mike.
You know, it's funny. I can't. I mean, I know you're just joking, but you have to be born in America. It's funny that my sister found out. We found out that we were related. I didn't know I had a sister until a year ago or so, which was kind of crazy. But she found out that she's part Canadian. What? She thought she was American this whole time, but nope. She's half Canadian, so take that, Heather. But as it turns out, my family, that's right. My family, when they came from England to America in the late 1700s, they were in the United States for a really, really, really long time. And my grandpa was a dual citizen. My dad could have applied, but he never did. So we have lots of family in the United States and North America and relatives in Europe. And so we're one big global happy family. So it's nice to think globally about these sorts of things, but yeah.
Anella wrote, do you guys have a website online?
We have a website that's essentially just an online business card talking about what we do. We had when we first started, we had all the items in our store on the website, but things were selling really, really fast. And the amount of time it took for me to post things and take them down and update and all that stuff, it just was not worth the effort at the time. So we decided to post the occasional thing on Facebook or on Instagram, but primarily we deal with auctions because they deal with all the shipping and everything, and I can do big batch sales to get rid of stuff. So we don't have a whole lot of stuff right now.
Patricia wrote,
the
yes,
jewelry
the
and the
jewelry
coins.
and coins are up on Kastner.
Okay, so it looks like
They're fast.
It looks like Kastner was really busy today, so they did
my
get a
goodness.
bunch of the pictures up. So for those of you interested to see, 95% of the stuff for that sale is probably posted. There are 53 items which we're getting appraised right now, which are kind of the if it's like if you got an ice cream sundae and that's the auction, and then they put like I don't know, bananas or whatever, and then they put the whipped cream on top.
Such
The
a
cherry,
weird analogy.
the cherry on the top,
Oh my gosh.
that is the stuff that's not there yet. So when you look at it, just know there's a whole bunch of new stuff that's coming out to the auction sale. But it sounds like they are busy uploading stuff to the auction site right now.
The stuff that's there right now is really nice. It was just the stuff where I looked at it and I'm like, oh, we should get this appraised because I'm not a gemologist or a jeweler. So we wanted to make sure that what we said things were, especially when it was a bigger item, that we knew exactly what it was. That's why we paid to get them appraised.
Yes, you can bid if you're anywhere in the world. Somebody said, can I bid if I'm in the United States? Yes. Kastner will ship globally. They'll ship anywhere. The only thing I would say is that when you go on the January 30th sale and they post that stuff, if you're in, let's say, Sweden, and you see that late 1800s pump float organ, don't bid on that. You're not going to want to ship an organ to Sweden. But people do that stuff sometimes.
A lot of people are asking if we have any estimates on shipping. We obviously couldn't tell you an estimate on shipping because it depends on the item you bought. If it was just a very light chain that can be put in an envelope compared to, say, the pipe organ, you're going to be looking at them and the distance. There's no way to calculate it ahead of time.
Robert says, I've been watching for a while, but a cafe? You're going to need some help. Sounds like fun, though. You know, Robert, I am chasing an experience. Some people collect things. I collect experiences and environments. And this environment I want to create, I'm going to tell you this right now, that the idea with the cafe, I have all sorts of friends and customers and people who watch the YouTube channel come into the store, and there's really nowhere for them to stand because the store is quite full. If you've ever watched the videos, our store is full. It's interesting, but it's full. And they want somewhere to hang out and socialize. And so the idea of having a place for the community to socialize and gather and meet is right up the alley that I want to go in, and to have a big door that opens up and a fresh air patio, ice cream in summer, maybe some live music playing. And we get to the live music portion of it. I am not selling Madame Rack's piano. That grand piano is not being sold. My plan is to move it into the cafe once it's built, have it all tuned and cleaned up. And if somebody is a pianist, or they studied with Madame Rack, or they have an interest in music, of course, that they're welcome to play it and put on a little song there. So if Madame Rack students want to play her piano that they taught her at for the last 50, 60 years, that piano will be available for them to do so on. And I like the idea of maybe having some open mics or little concerts at the shop. There's a lot of music involved in that building. The people we bought the building from he was a musician and did concerts in the building. I have musicians in my family. My dad was a musician. I'm a hack, but I try. So I think that idea of having community space and just bringing people together, I can't wait to bring people together and just have a good time again. Do you know if the house will be up for sale in the spring? Deb from Edmonton. Yeah, the owner does want to sell the home. The property will be up for sale. If you're interested in it, you can reach me and I can put you two in touch. Kathleen, thank you so much. You could have asked a question, but she just sent us $20. That's pretty cool too. Oh, I saw a bunch of question marks there. I'm going to see. I was not one of her students. No, I do not know how to play the piano. I met Madame Rack through buying her Cadillac. Madame Rack's Cadillac. That's how I met Madame Rack. Had I not purchased her Cadillac, this whole story would not have happened. It's funny how life goes in full circle. I did not keep the Cadillac because I needed something. I was driving that as my year-round car. I drove it all winter long and summer long last year, and it was too good of a car to do that to. So I sold it for the time being. Well, yeah, I sold it pretty well permanently. But it was a very good car. But I have plans for a different sort of summer vehicle for myself. If I can find an E-Type Jag, that's what's going to happen. That's my dream car.
Lucy said, did the diary from the garage go to the auction or any others? Love the series. Thank you for sharing.
I did keep the diary from the garage. And yes, we'll see what we can do about that. It's her childhood diary, and there's a lot of angsty little girl sort of stories in there about boys she thought was cute and things like that. And it's endearing. But yeah, I did keep that book because I thought that was a special little piece. The auction site is K Auctions. So he's asking, what's the auction site again?
I put it up. I'm the blue name with the little blue wrench. I'm about to put it up.
Yeah, the Gibson guitar that I found in that house. I cannot believe that we ended up finding the broken headstock that was missing, and I am going to get that repaired by, I think it's Clint, who is Josh's friend.
Yeah.
Who's a luthier. He's going to fix it up. So our friend Josh, who was in the first video of this series, he shares a shop with a friend who's a luthier by chance, and he's going to fix the headstock for me. So we'll try and get that up and running. The website is down right now. I wonder if we crashed it by everybody going to check the website all at once.
Maybe they were like so frantically trying to put all those jewelry and
Janelli Bean 5, we'd like to have you come visit us at some point too. I'm so glad you like the series. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. We have had adventures like this a couple times now. If you want, go back through our backlog of videos and you'll see a couple series. The Potter's House, if you hadn't seen that, is a similar sort of idea, but we ended up actually renovating the whole property. We took it one step further and renovated the whole place, which is fun to do. We are working on a couple longer series projects right now. One is building this little cafe, this little coffee shop, which we're going to move forward on in spring again. And if you go back and watch the video series, I think it's called The Old Garage. I'll have to change the playlist name because it's not really a garage. It's going to be a cafe. And we had to actually like go up against city council, and somebody said, I can't believe that you are building. Initially they wanted $750,000 for a fire hydrant, and we had to kind of argue a little bit about that. They said no to me, 6-7 times, that I couldn't build until I finally asked an 8th, and they gave up and said sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to be persistent, and it's not a matter of doing things that are unsafe. It's a matter of helping people to see a different way of approaching things, and we were able to do that. So I'm looking forward to getting through all that. Mark's Etsy page is under Pontiac Dry Goods on Etsy. And Blink Optical, and he's got another one too. I can't think of offhand right now, but there you go.
Superman OMG said, do you plan to travel to the US after COVID? Would still like to get together and have you dig through some stuff. Love the adventure.
I would love to go back to the United States, and I had plans. This year I was planning on traveling all over the place. I wanted to drag my sister Heather to England to go to our homeland of Northumberland and Newcastle upon Tyne, where our family originated.
Naked in the Bowery for Edmund.
Naked in the Bowery is Mark's other
I didn't know
page.
What they were writing, and I'm like, oh, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Thank
so
you,
yes,
Dan.
I will travel again. Dan, thank you so much. Been watching from Australia and loving the show. Any chance you could send Hans down to help on my yard work? Hans, if he was here, would say, oh, no problem, buddy. Just get me the tickets and I'll be there. He would go for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys sent us Mick Dundee, or you sent us Crocodile Dundee. We would send you Hans, and equal hilarity would ensue. It'd
weird
be good
group
times. Hans in Australia would be great. I'd like to see that.
Are there any watches that were in the house that are for sale?
Funny story. I'm going to tell you the story about the watches.
I was wondering if you were going to tell them. Welcome to our lives, you guys. Welcome
in one of
to
the
our lives.
episodes, I was working in the garage and I found a box with some watches in it, and I went woohoo. Well, I didn't go woohoo like Homer Simpson, but I did. I was happy. I was like, cool watches. But what I didn't show in the video was that I dug further in the box and found about 30 wallets, and they weren't theirs. They were other people's wallets with their full ID and their social insurance cards and birth certificates and stuff. And so, frankly, I kind of got a little freaked out. And so I took the whole box with all the watches. I was worried I stumbled into something dark. I'll be honest. I was like,
well, it doesn't
oh,
look
no.
good when you find a whole box of wallets.
It was buried. It was
Yeah.
underneath a bunch of sheets. Move that out of the way. There's a box, and inside the box, some watches, right? Rings, and a whole bunch of wallets with people's IDs, like lots of different people's wallets. And I was like, oh no. So I was like, oh, this isn't good at all. So I didn't touch anything. I just put all the stuff in the box, including all the watches and rings, whatever that was in there. I took it all to the police, and I said, can you please just make sure that nothing foul happened with any of this and there's nothing to worry about. So the police have that box with all the watches and rings and stuff in it. And what they did, they actually looked it up. And as it turns out, Betty Jones' husband, Jim, his dad at one point had a grocery store, and they would take people's wallets, I guess, as collateral. I don't know who would do that nowadays.
Well,
but
that was a while ago then.
they would come in and they would say something like, I need some groceries or whatever, and I'll pay you on Friday. And he'd say, okay, well, I'm going to hang on to your wallet until you come back in. And if they didn't come back in, I guess he just kept their wallet and their watch and their ring all those years. He never sold them, never did anything with it. He kept it all those years, hoping they never did come back.
But
So
the police did actually check into this, and all of them had either died from natural causes or were still alive. So
yeah, so they're reaching out right now to find out if any of those people want their old ID back or anything like that. And
Yeah.
if there's anything left over, like rings or watches that are sellable for me, I'll get it back. But I actually I took this big box of stuff in there, and now I have to apply to get that stuff back from
since
the
it
police.
was part of an investigation.
Yeah.
But it was the right thing to do. Like, you never know. You assume the best of people, but
My heart
you
sank.
just never know.
I was like, oh no.
You only see stuff like that on movies, and generally that doesn't end the way it did.
I was like, who would in their right mind in their 30s, like these people were fairly young at the time, would leave behind their wallet with everything in it, like ID and stuff. And so I was like, oh no, this looks like something you'd see on CSI or something. It was not good. And so, I took the stuff into the police, and they said, it's nothing bad. It just was collateral from the guy's store. And I was like, whew, well, that's a relief. So they're going to try and get the stuff back, the property back to the owners, since it was theirs before. If they don't come in for it or whatever, I guess I can claim it down the road. So I'd rather they got their stuff back anyway. After all those years, they'd probably like to have, maybe it was like their grandfather's wedding ring or grandmother's ring and something, and who knows. It might be some sentimental stuff that was in there that should go back to the family.
Richard, thank you. He said, would be happy to have you in Texas. I also need hands in Zenobia for a couple of weeks. You're my new favorite channel.
Yeah, we're lucky to have some really good friends that stick with us on these adventures, and we definitely appreciate having them in our lives.
Some of us crazy people value old buttons and beads the way that you value old car parts, tool bits to make beautiful new things from old. Love ya. From Susan. Thanks,
Well, Susan, if you like old buttons and things, you'll like the 7 giant boxes of sewing notions and buttons that I'm putting up for auction coming up on January 30th. You guys were watching that series and you were telling me stuff and I was paying attention. You're like, oh, we'd love to have that basket full of sewing notions. Well, guess what's going to be at that auction? Also, a lot of the cool little cups, like the Swan powder dishes and the Scotty or the Poodle candy dishes and the nesting hen dish. All that stuff is going there anyway. There's a lot of cool chalet glass, like that art glass that's going up. So
that
lots of neat
auction
stuff.
on when is it? The first one, 29th? 23rd?
23rd is for the jewelry and a lot of the coins.
And it's just our auction, right?
Everything at both sales is just our stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. You saw me find, very briefly, a bag full of silver dollars. Those were all real. You also saw Josh find some silver dollars, which were sadly not real. Some of those items will be for sale, but they will be clearly marked replica if they're
Right.
replica. I've very carefully gone through each and every one of those silver dollars to make sure that only the real ones went through as real, and if it was replica, it's being marked as replica. So that's all gone. There will be some silver bars going through the auction, and that has all been listed and over at the auction house now.
Debbie said, you do a great deal of good. Thank you.
Well, hopefully we're able to at least entertain you guys through all of this. The update on for those of you that have been watching the channel, and I see our friend Gordon Craig from the Edmonton Rolls Royce Club is on. So hello, Gordon. The car is 90% finished. It runs, it drives, it stops. Those are important things. But it's not quite done yet. So they are going through the last little bit of it at the shop. They did fix the fan blade. I should go over there and get an update on it. But it's coming along, and when I'm able to go do an update over there, I sure will.
Thank you very much, Music House. Kastner will ship worldwide. So if it can be shipped, it can be sent to you.
Oh yeah, silver bars. I found a box full of silver bars, and
Not like the big
not
ones.
I only found one really big one, but there's a whole bunch of silver bars and silver dollars. You get guys. The reason I didn't show a lot of that stuff on camera is because for safety's sake, honestly. But you'll be shocked to see the cool things that we ended up finding in the home. I looked through. There was one ring that we said if we found it, we would give it back to the owner. And we found thousands, well not thousands, but we found hundreds of rings. Did not find the one specific ring that the owner was looking for.
That was like my main goal, to find that ring for him. So
and we even went through the
garbage.
he had thrown a lot of trash into the garage. I went through each and every bag individually, took everything out, went through it, shook it all out, could not find it. So I was really, really hoping I could find that for the fellow, but sadly could not find it. Apparently it was a good one too.
Whatever happened with the old journal of Harmer
Spratt?
Just saw that video today.
When we first shut down the store with COVID during the first kind of wave of shutdowns here, a friend of mine who is a collector of historical items made me an offer on it. And since I was shut down and could use the money, I sold it. So it's gone, but it's in a collection with somebody who really loves history and will cherish it. He's a doctor and a military historian. So it went to a very good home.
Sarge said, is your first name John? I think it might be John. Of course you're entertaining. I was binge watching Cobra Kai season 3 while working, and I saw the alert for your live, so I paused it to watch you.
Great.
I feel like we'd get along in real life.
Yeah, our kids are hooked on watching Cobra Kai right now.
We were just doing that last night.
Yeah, I think we have a couple other.
Yeah, this is the next
one.
one.
Oh, wasn't it one of the councilmen who initially suggested you build a lot during your visit for zoning? Oddly, they would later deny it. It's one thing to suggest something like, you should take a hot air balloon around the world. It's another thing to actually do it. So the logistics of building on my lot were a lot more complicated than I thought. It was zoned correctly, but they wanted me to put in this close to $1 million, well, $750,000 plus fire hydrant that was intended for the whole neighborhood. And so we just opted to put a sprinkler system in our building, which will be a nice cheap way to get that done. So yes, it's moving ahead now, thankfully. Sounds like the auction listing is almost up. Ferranti says, when will the auction listing be up? They have not taken any pictures of any of the collectibles and furniture and that's not going to happen until probably the middle of January. I'm going over there every single day and getting things organized so that they can start taking pictures of it. Now, a lot of the stuff going through on the January 30th sale is going to be box full of things from the house. So a box full of sewing notions, or a box full of assorted tools, or a box full of scissors.
You saw that box. It's just too much for us to have to individually do it. And not only that, sometimes it's nice as a person bidding to get a treasure chest full of something so that you can discover it for yourself as well. So we kind of wanted it to be your adventure as well.
Oh, Jane says she's gone back 11 generations in her genealogy. They're from the Isle of Wight of England. My ancestors hid King Charles I in their home. Very interesting to know that. Apparently, I have some lady and lord such and such of England from way back when. So some regal lines that surely were lost on me when I came around.
Somebody said that maybe the ring's in the safety deposit box. I am really hoping that is where she put it. So that way at least the owner can can get it, and I know that was important to him. So,
I can-
hello, Heather.
I can tell you this much: when the gentleman who inherited the property goes through the safety deposit boxes, he's going to have a real surprise in store, I'm sure. When he finds or goes through those boxes, I can only imagine or fathom what's in there. It's going to be like the if you've ever seen Pulp Fiction and they open the suitcase and it just glows and you don't know, that's what it's going to be like. He's just going to open it and it's just going to glow, and you're not going to be able to see what's in it.
Look who it is.
Oh, it's Linda of Iowa. It is me, Linda of Iowa. That's right. We said, who could it be? Is it Linda of Iowa? And there's no mountains in Iowa apparently. But I said, is it Linda on the mountaintop, wearing her golden trousers, come to save us all? It's Linda of Iowa. That's right. And so now she kind of became like a meme in our. Anyway, welcome back, Linda.
Where's her shirt?
Oh, of all the things I've got to do right now, designing a T-shirt isn't at the top of the list.
Linda's in the house.
And my sister's in the house.
Yeah, and Heather.
And Linda spells her name the same as my mom does, with the Y.
Yep.
Why? Why not? Every day, basically, for the next week, I have to go to the auction and I have to sort and organize and label every single thing. And we're talking thousands of items. It's one thing to clear the house out and put it in boxes. It's another thing to go through it all and organize it. But I think we're probably about 35% of the way done after today. I got a lot done.
I went to the auction today to help Alexander out and kind of dust some things off. I don't know what I imagined was going to happen here, but it wasn't a nice light dusting. It was a lot of scrubbing.
Some of the things in that house were so dusty, it was like an inch of dust where you could have the trick where you pull the tablecloth out from underneath all the cups and it stays? You could have run your finger underneath the dust and the dust would have just dropped down a level.
Yeah.
It was thick dust.
I brought a big dented pot so I could fill it up with soapy water so that it would help me out. I had to clean it so many times.
Oh, somebody's saying hello, Linda of
Greetings.
Iowa? Yes. The space that the auction house has given me to work with is probably, I would say, about a 1,000 square foot room or close to it that I'm sorting in. It's maybe not that big. Maybe it's 700 square feet or so. It's a pretty big space.
Everybody thinks my hair is a different color. It must be the lighting. You would know if it was a different color because when I try to dye my hair myself, it turns orange. So when you see I have orange hair, that was the day I dyed it.
Sewing patterns are going up for auction as well. There's going to be boxes and boxes full of vintage sewing patterns, as well as the tailoring books that go back to the 1920s and the tailoring scissors and sewing machines. And I found out that sewing machine that was in the basement was the really cool Singer sewing machine that has the Egyptian motif with the Sphinx on it. Anyway, really, really cool.
Oh, perfect. Thank you, Heather. She put up the link.
Yes. So, boy, what a busy week. Thank you all so much for watching and spending all the time that you have with us during this. We'll try it. We'll spend the next few minutes answering a few questions before we log out here. And let's see. Somebody says, "Oh, I love the Egyptian one." Yeah, it's a really cool sewing machine. It's probably one of the, out of Singer's sewing machines. There was one that was Etonia, which would be Eaton's brand in Canada. But there's a portable sewing machine. I don't know why I'm excited about sewing machines, but they're kind of cool. It's like a peacock blue, sort of Art Nouveau, Art Deco kind of style. It's peacock blue and like sort of a darker bluey green, like a turquoise color. Really cool thing. It needs a bit of a cleaning, but it's going to shine up really nice. And I think I've never seen one quite like it before.
We reopened our store this week. We didn't have to close down. We just chose to. So this week we reopened. So It's open now.
We were busy working on the house, and now I'm back as well. Do you think the coins in the basement were known to be fake, but they just couldn't throw them out?
Maybe because they were all in that same spot.
I think that they made a lot of trips overseas, and so they probably made a trip to Asia and purchased them when they were on vacation, because obviously he was a coin collector. He had lots of 1800s and 1900s silver dollars as it was. So probably at a market, saw them all there for a fair price and bought them, and then got home, found out that they were fake and put them in the trash. Or just put them in an unceremonial sort of location at the home.
Anne, you're amazing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. Somebody said, why is Mark getting the garage closed when he said he didn't want it anymore? He said he was done with the house, but I had offered or promised him any clothes that were left in the garage. So I was letting him guide that experience, because I said, are you done with the house? He said, yes, I'm done with the house. So then anything that was left in the house, I was able to bring home. Thankfully, we got all those Diana von Furstenberg dresses that were out of there. A lot of designer stuff came out of that little space. I'm glad that Hans and I went digging back there to find that stuff. Plus, we found some more jewelry. But I did promise him the stuff in the garage, and so I put it all outside for him to pick up, which hopefully he's done.
So for everybody asking what clothing I kept, nothing. I'm
Probably
not
would
a,
fit you though.
but I don't collect anything, and I don't need a lot of things, so I chose not to take anything.
Yeah, we're
Love
kind
this
of in.
series. Job well done. You can tell if you watch my videos or you watch here, you'll see a lot of the same clothing, probably forever.
Well, you do get other clothes now.
Yeah,
and
I
again.
know, but I mean, I wasn't gonna go shopping.
If you watch the video from the beginning going back, you'll be able, I did a little backstory on her husband. Vicky put a lot of question marks for some reason. I'm guessing she had a question, but I didn't see what it was. Let's see.
I didn't even see it.
I don't know where it was. Sorry, Vicky, I can't see what your question was. We have a lot of stuff going through the sale. So if you saw a specific piece of jewelry that you liked, it's likely going through the auction. Yes, my sister is going to be a grandma, which means I'm going to be a great uncle.
I'm a great aunt.
Yeah, you're always a great aunt.
Well, I mean,
I have to aspire to being a great uncle.
Aw.
Wait, what was that?
Oh, I did wear the necklace. So many people were disappointed that we found this necklace in the house, and it's just a simple, it jingles. It's a simple little leaf necklace with gold.
The auction takes a certain percentage. It really ranges depending upon what you're selling. I'm trying to negotiate with them a slightly better rate because I take a lot of stuff in there, but they do earn their percentage, I find. You know, when you consider they have to handle the shipping, they have to handle the customer service end of it, take the payments. For me, it is such a relief to take a whole bunch of stuff into an auction house. And yes, there's a lot of work when you go to inventory and drop it off there. But then they do the rest. They advertise it, they sell it, they take care of all that. And
They do a lot of work.
And the best part is they pay you the week after the auction. For those of you asking about the comic book sale, I've not still been fully paid from that comic book auction that happened like 2 months ago. Castor will pay me the next weekend.
Yeah.
That's how good it is. So that's why I deal with this company. They pay very promptly. They have a good online presence, and they are capable of getting things done fast. And that's what I need, is to get things done quickly. We are, our motto is, and I've mentioned, oh, thank you very much, Philip. We see that coming through. Thank you, Philip Johnson. I don't like to sit around and wait for the very top dollar on things. I like to leave a little bit of room for the next person as well, which means that sometimes I sell things quickly and maybe I could have made more money on it, but you can't second guess yourself. If we reinvest that money in other things, then you keep growing and growing. And it's been a good business practice for us. We don't sit on a lot of product, and that's why we operate kind of like, if you've ever been in a Costco and you're like, oh, I should come back next week and grab that thing that's in the center aisle. You do, and it's gone. That's like our stores. If you don't buy it when you see it, there's a good chance you won't get it again because we move our product very quickly at the store.
Thank goodness, because of the amount of product that we constantly have turning
Yeah,
over.
our store is only so big.
Gail said, will that beautiful Xmas tree stand be at the auction?
Yes, it will, Gail. I just saw it today. It's going to be in with a box of a bunch of other Christmas ornaments. So look for that. It's going to be in a Christmas box.
Thank you very much, Isabella.
I'll see if I can answer some more questions where we go. I don't know what type of turquoise was on the necklaces. There was some spider turquoise and things like that, but I don't know much about it.
I actually do have a new video coming up this week. I had to do online preschool, which I pre-recorded and sent to my class. So in between that, I did little snippets of what our week has been like. I am going to try to get that up tomorrow, and it's interesting.
Yes, there's old Pyrex Marilyn Nan. That will be
Lori.
going up for auction. Nice colored sets of Pyrex bowls, which we found in the house. And our store is located in the Westmount neighborhood in Edmonton, Alberta, on 127th Street and 109th Avenue, right across from a lovely little park and a lovely little community hall, and there's parking right out front, and we're in an old-fashioned general store that's been there for 109 years or so.
It's a really nice neighborhood too. The
It
neighbors
is,
are
yeah.
amazing. Susie wants to know, did you find any Bakelite jewelry?
Yeah, I think I did, but I'm not that great at identifying it yet, so I kept it aside until I can figure out what it is, but I think I found a whole bunch of Bakelite jewelry.
I know you can do the rub test and it smells like You know, I don't know what formaldehyde smells like, so that doesn't help me. Are the chains holding up the shelves, what were they made out of? I'm the gold ones up in the attic.
Mike has asked us many times, who is the owner to her that he wants her stuff with a bunch of question marks. I don't know that he wanted her stuff. He was a lifelong friend, and I don't think he really wanted her stuff. She willed it to him because she was a friend and had no family left. And so in that instance, if somebody writes a will and your name's on the will, you might not even know that your name is on somebody's will. But if that happens, then you end up with a house full of stuff, and then you have to make decisions. So, he was a friend for many years, and that's how that worked out.
Sarge said, do you have a name for the cafe? I suggest Sarge's Coffee and Grub. Just saying.
You can name your coffee shop that, Sarge. I don't know what mine's going to be yet. I think when we eventually name our little cafe, I want to do something that speaks to the heritage of our former owners of the building. I'm going to think of something that makes sense for that neighborhood.
Alexander's good at coming up with names, I have to say.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
No pressure. David said, enjoyed the series. Cannot wait for the next one. It made me clear some of my old stuff. That's one thing that even for us, I think we came home and were like, oof. We started going through even our own stuff. Somebody asked where they can buy one of those dresses.
I don't have any of the dresses up for sale right now. You can email me if you like at curiosityedmonton@gmail.com. I believe that most of the dresses are size 6.
They're a range of sizes.
But they're a wrap dress, so I think that they're kind of adjustable because you just wrap it around yourself. If you're talking about the von Furstenberg dresses, the DVF dresses, is that what they're called? Diane von Furstenberg, yeah, DVFs. But I need to get them I need to figure out what I have there, because these are the very first Diane von Furstenberg dresses from the early 1970s. And so they probably have a fair bit of collector value. So until I know what to ask for them and what kind of condition they're in, I don't know what to do with them yet. So, I mean, if somebody wrote me and they're like, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars if you just send me a whole pile of them, I might be like, okay, because I don't want to deal with clothing for much longer.
We have some of the jewelry in the store right now. Already. They said, when is the costume jewelry to be sold in your store? Like that first lot.
Yeah, costume jewelry is already at the store, and more will be arriving throughout the week. All the high-end jewelry is going through auction, a Kastner auction, which should be live online for viewing in the next day or two. Red Knight says, wish I could have been able to get some of those small precision tools, but shipping to Hawaii would be prohibitive. But that's how you get everything in Hawaii. It has to get shipped in. So don't let that stop you. That's the fun of being on an island. You guys just get used to shipping stuff. I'll be putting up a whole bunch of precision tools in lots, and those will be going up for auction soon. Somebody said you should contact Diane VF corporate offices. Maybe they don't have copies of some of those dresses. You never know. I know when I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, they had one of those dresses on display there, so it's kind of cool. Are you going to make buying estate houses or content something you normally do? Both Mary, Madam, and Rack series have been fun to watch. Yeah, it's just these sort of houses, they have to come around at the right time. And they're kind of needle in a haystack sort of properties. I don't want to just be buying a bunch of gross stuff. You hope that you're going to be buying, making a smart investment to get properties that have potentially cool items in them. But yes, of course I would do it again. Absolutely.
Contact her directly. She'll answer you. She's a wonderful person. The ukuleles are going up. Like we have 2 ukuleles going, right?
Yeah, there's some ukuleles going up.
I do teach preschool. Thank you.
Electric motors, Hans cleared those out. He scraps copper and metal and stuff, so he cleaned those out already. So the electric motors are gone. Dumpsters, I think I spent maybe $2,500 or so. The owner of the house actually paid for the last couple dumpsters, so I didn't have to worry about those two. Because at one point we were just cleaning, and cleaning wasn't really part of the deal. We just purchased the stuff in the house. But I said, if you want us to clean and sweep and throw trash out, if you bring another dumpster, we'll continue on. And so we did, and we cleaned up the whole property. We put the labor in, and he paid for the dumpsters. So very happy that the owner did that.
They're all giving names. No cough. Great to see that you're feeling better. Thank goodness for all of us.
Yeah.
Did she live in the house right until she passed? And
yes, she did. Yeah, she lived in the house right until she passed away. And a lot of people said, where does she sleep? She had a couch in the front living room by the window that I believe was kind of a make-do bed. That's where she slept. And I think that washroom was more or less operable on the main floor. So it was kind of functioning, but it was not as functioning of a home as it should be.
Adam suggested curiosity drink.
There is a Curiosity Cola already, but it's not mine. Somebody else has it. I should bring it in the store and sell it, and people think that we've branded our own brand of soda. You have your own pop. Yes, and she taught people in that house when it was in that condition, and people just basically, I think,
Well, she had it kind of clean differently in that beginning part.
not so much. No, I
Yeah.
think talking to students, they just said that they loved her so much that they overlooked the clutter to go and see her, and I had a student drop by the home, and they were quite upset because. Upset as in they were sad because they wish they would have done something to help her situation. Like they looked past it and they didn't step in, but a person has to be ready for that sort of help. And, hopefully they don't hold that.
Mike, nice to see you. Create your own blend of coffee for the shop and call it Curious Brew. Happy New Year.
Well, we do have a coffee supplier locally. So he did say he could do branded coffee for us if we wanted to. Stuck upon your channel a couple weeks ago and have been watching ever since. Jamie from Nebraska.
Well, we're glad that you found us.
So we'll probably answer just a few more questions, and then we'll move along for the night. If you can't tell, I'm not feeling overly perky tonight because I'm super tired and exhausted from the last month of my life.
He fell asleep, like full on fell asleep 2 days in a row on the couch, and that doesn't happen.
I'm not a napper.
No.
My body is like shutting down midday right now.
Yeah.
Tree Sprite says, thank you for keeping me busy with this series. Love following the journey. It kept my mind off of pain and second surgery to save my kidney. Well, you've got a lot going on.
Yeah. Good luck with your surgery and everything.
Please stay positive and healthy. We'll take a couple. Here I'm complaining about being tired, and they're waiting on a kidney operation tomorrow. So somebody else always has something more going on. No, that last live feed, I had taken some Benadryl, and then I forgot that I had also taken some cough syrup just beforehand, and I think it did loopy things to me.
But they all were different. They were all different medications. Any news on Matthew?
Matthew, we thought Matthew is normally one of our moderators when we do these live feeds. Yeah. He is resting right now. He has COVID, as we have several people on the live feed right now that have COVID. He was a firefighter for many years, and so there's a little bit of added risk with his lungs, I think, as they are. So he is resting, and I think trying to recoup. He thought he was over his fever, but then it came back again. So last update I saw on his Facebook page, Wicked Earth Jewelry was just saying that he's basically just resting right now. So hopefully Matthew, our regular moderator, will be back soon, and we hope and send our best thoughts and wishes to him that he heals up quickly. My wife's YouTube channel is Melissa Archbold.
I'm just going to put up a whole bunch of hearts and a turtle.
And a turtle? What's with the turtle?
I love turtles,
Yes, Matthew was a first responder on 9/11 to the Twin Towers, and sadly, I know he would probably he shared this story, I think, on his own as well, but many of his friends that were on his crew perished either from cancer or other various issues as a result of fighting that blaze. So we really hope and wish for him to have a speedy recovery.
I know they do have a fundraiser on his Facebook site, the Wicked Earth Jewelry. So if somebody does want to be able to help out in that way, otherwise, or just even sharing it, that also helps. Because yes. I know we're all kind of in a difficult times right now regardless. So sometimes even just sharing somebody's channel will help.
Yeah, he has I don't think it's a GoFundMe, but they're doing like a fundraiser for him because his primary source of income right now is him making and selling his beaded jewelry. Yeah. And because he's been sick, he hasn't been able to make anything, to ship anything. So I think the money coming in.
He can't ship it because he's sick.
Yeah, so he's been basically shut off from all of his income. So
it's just to help him with medical bills and stuff like that.
Yeah, so go check out his page if you want to help him out. I'm sure he'd much appreciate it. I know we sent him a little bit of money as well to help him. So Wicked Earth Jewelry on Facebook.
Amanda Stevenson.
Melissa and Alex, you brighten my day, and I really enjoy every episode. Make sure to take some time and rest as you all work so hard. Yeah, I know. We probably need to rest. I will rest. I'm the type of person that I will rest when I'm done. Like if I sit down and there's laundry needs to be folded or something, I can't sit until it's done. Once everything's done and everything is organized and where it should be, then I can rest. So right now, I'm not caught up to where I feel I can rest yet, but I will eventually.
Matt said jewelry in the US is not as correct historically as jewelry in Canada. Just see bakery, fishery, hatchery, etc. But it meant the jeweler's place.
Thank you for that
Yeah,
history lesson.
Thanks for looking that up.
Thank you, C. Fitzel, as well. Greetings from near Washington, D.C. Well, greetings to you, too.
From nowhere near Washington, D.C.
Well, yeah, nowhere near Washington, D.C. We're not too far from Washington State, but not too far. We're not close at all to Washington, D.C.
Somebody, Serendipity by Melanie. Alex sent you a PM on Facebook.
I will try and have a look for that and
It's
see.
funny. So people will send Alexander saying like, "Did you see my email or message or anything?" And then he opens it and there's like 1,000. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Thank you for all giving us something to look forward to during this lockdown, giving us motivation to purge our homes. Hey, if you're stuck at home anyway, why not clean out the place? I think my sister-in-law, Nikki, always said if she hasn't used something in like the past year or two, she's probably not going to use it. And so she would do like clean sweeps through her house all the time and just get rid of stuff. And we're kind of the same mind where we've been trying more than anything lately just to get rid of things and just keep specific things that make us happy. So yeah, we will continue on, I think, with that.
I'm terrible for bringing my teaching stuff home, though.
Thank you, Benedict. Yeah.
You need a proper respiratory mask. I agree. I think that a lot of the coughing could have been.
Here's the challenge. People can't hear me if I'm recording a video with a proper mask on, but I should, because I guess I could narrate after the fact. I do have a proper mask. This might shock you. I have a proper mask. And I have a chest mount for my GoPro, and yet I find myself so eager to get in these places and dig around that I don't take the time to stop and get the proper stuff.
No, it's a go. When I say Alexander is go, 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 I mean like he's already thinking about what he's going to do next. Like I guarantee he already knows what he's going to do next immediately after this.
Yeah. So guys,
thank you very much, Wolf Spirit, as well.
Thank you. And I think that's about it. I think we're just more or less, unless there's anything really pressing you guys have a question about, I think we'll probably wrap it up.
Do you still have any of the pottery left from the other house?
No. Mary, I only kept one sphere of Mary's pottery that I kept for myself. All of her other artwork is dispersed around this good green planet where it should be in people's houses on display and not hidden inside her house. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. More episodes coming soon. We have two auctions that we'll be doing updates on, and we'll give you sort of the lowdown on how we did. Any money that's raised from those auction sales is going to go towards putting up our cafe, our unnamed cafe. So I'm really hoping these sales do well, because that is the money that's going to build us a building, hopefully, or go towards it anyhow. And then you guys will be able to watch us do a building episode or series with Josh and Hans and likely Zenobia and a whole bunch of our usuals that, you know, every time we do these little episodes, it also puts other people back to work in our area too. And we're happy to contribute back to our local economy and to our friends. So stay tuned for more episodes, lots of fun adventures to be had. And if you're in the Edmonton area and you still want to sell me stuff, yeah, I'm still buying things. So drop me a line, and we're happy to go visit places and still buy cool collections of stuff. So take care, guys. Wishing you nothing but the best, and have a happy rest of your day and happy rest of your week. Bye for now, guys.
As always, don't forget to click that thumbs up button.
Oh, yeah. And subscribe.
Subscribe. And if you want to be notified when we are on or when new episodes do come on, make sure to click the little bell icon. Thank you.
Samantha, thank you so much. I just caught your last live feed there. Or, super chat. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming and joining us.
And we'll probably stay on for a couple minutes just
until it doesn't allow me.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll see you guys. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Good night, you guys.